I was just taking photos around Little Bay and videos, and it was really nice. Little Bay's a beautiful coastal gem in Sydney. Unfortunately, it was stained heavily by my uncle Charlie Toke, Charles Chabelle, who assaulted his brother so viciously that the screams could be heard from 2 blocks away. Such a beautiful, beautiful area that he stained. And that's one of the heartbreaking things, is that I think Charlie came here with his brother with the expectation that things were going to get better because they're in such a beautiful area. It's so lovely here in Little Bay. It feels medicinal. It feels therapeutic. It's that beautiful. Unfortunately, his demons were inside him. So he was taking his demons to Little Bay, unfortunately. And the police were called several times. The screams could be heard from 2 blocks away from Tony when Chabelle was assaulting him with a stone pestle. And then afterwards he asked his sister to take Tony's mail so he couldn't go to court. He had to go back on the street, I think, after that, because Chabelle, who was Tony's guardian, had told everyone that it was his fault, or that he doesn't want Tony to live with him anymore, or whatever. But Chabelle subjected Tony to the street after he assaulted him. Chabelle's an epileptic who suffers delusions of grandeur, and he feels to an extremely unhealthy degree. He still has a crush on Yara. He still has feelings for her. It's gross for me to say, but it's the truth. And it's very uncomfortable hearing my Uncle Charlie talk about Yara. Perhaps it was 2 or 3 years ago. I don't know. It wasn't that long ago, but it was uncomfortable because that's his second cousin, for one. But it was a cousin who lived in Lebanon, in our village in Pshari, who had done well for herself and married well and is living in Paris with a lovely family. Beautiful, beautiful kids. Curly locks, I think. I think she has sons, and they're just these beautiful brown-haired, just angels. Beautiful curly hair. My wife loves the Lebanese curly hair thing. It's beautiful, and Yada's got beautiful curly hair, so that's where she gets that from. And it's that side of the family that has that sort of luscious curly hair. Yada's first cousin, Yusuf, he's got 2 sons, Gabriel and Antonio, and they both have beautiful, luscious hair. And I think, Matthew as well, their first cousin. Yeah, that's right. Yeah, he has boys and they have beautiful locks as well. Imagine that. Lebanon, Sydney, Paris. We're spreading our genetics all over the world. It's beautiful. It's a lovely thought, that we have such a beautiful family nested in Paris. It makes me feel more connected to Paris. It makes me feel Parisian because I'm secure in myself and I am dealing with my mental health issues, and I don't have some weird insecurity about cousins doing better than me and living a seemingly lovely life in Paris. My auntie Muntaha is similar. That's my uncle Zulzul. That's his wife, ex-wife. She lives in Paris, and her sons live in Dijon while they go on university. And I think her daughter lives in Paris. What a beautiful, charmed life. I think all her kids go to university or are going to go to university. Dijon is beautiful, splendid. Their home in Châtillon-sur-Seine, which is in the countryside in France, is just beautiful and charming. I think it's a 15th century cottage, maison, right? With a beautiful cellar. An amazing, lovely, luscious garden out the back. And I think a shed, I believe. But just beautiful, just colourful and bright and vibrant in spring and summer, and beautiful in its own way in winter. Cozy and lovely. It's got beautiful exposed wooden, I want to call them shafts. Yeah, just these beautiful timber beams that are hundreds of years old on the ceiling. It's amazing. And the beautiful bricks on the wall that my uncle Zuzu lovingly renovated with his family, and they put a lot of blood, sweat and tears in that, and it paid off. It's beautiful. I hope Yara's visited. If she hasn't, then I'm going to be very upset at my uncle and Muntaha. I hope there's some line of communication between you people, because you're neighbours at this point. It'd be a shame if you're not connected. It'd be a shame if some family silliness or insecurity is preventing that from happening under the guise of, no, they can't get together because of some massive, massive mountain. That's a molehill produced by an insecure person with mental health issues, probably. I don't know. But I hope that that's not the case and that they're communicating, because I'd like to visit them soon. Me and Gabby, and Yusuf, Emma's husband. Yeah, he's got to come with me. We got to visit the family. We got to spread our, I wanted to say seed, but no, spread the love, let's just say. Feel it, right? There should be that sentiment rather than, I don't want to go specifically because they're there and they're better than me. Because that's how my Uncle Charlie feels. Because he said it. And he has feelings for Yara. They're very uncomfortable for me to hear. Imagine how uncomfortable it'd be for Majid to hear about his uncle's feelings for Yara when he was hopped up on cocaine, having some sort of manic episode. It's quite uncomfortable and quite confronting. There's a lot of confusion in the family, because maniacs like my Uncle Charlie are able to just hang out with the youth as if he's some sort of leader. It's appalling how far he's come in the community and how much we've let him get away with. Yara would know, because I'm sure she's got a taste of him and his attitude. They might have, I'm certain they wouldn't have had a relationship, but Charlie would have got ideas in his head because he's very emotional. And it might have been confronting for Yara. It might have been a lot. I don't know. I just know that my Uncle Charlie is a lot, and he legitimately has a crush on his cousin. And he's a church leader. And he assaults his brother. And he gets guardianship over vulnerable people in front of everyone. And harms them. And steals money from his family. Hopefully Tony's doing better now that he's very far away from Charlie. I think he is. I think he's going to Our Lady of Lebanon, which is good. And that's a really good thing. So I'm not bound by insecurity in the same way that my Uncle Charlie is. and I don't advertise that insecurity like my Uncle Charlie does. I enjoy the idea of traveling, and I want to travel, and I want to travel with family members to make that international connection stronger. I don't want the reality of family members doing better to make me think that I'm worse. And I never have, by the way. I've just seen it in so many people. Halim, for example. Halim's Yusuf's brother, Yara's first cousin, has this odd fear of traveling with him and his family that that's rubbed off on his lovely Aussie wife, which is such a shame because they're international, right? They're right there, you know. Yada's his first cousin, and she lives in Paris, right? I'm not saying that they'll go there and stay with her, but I mean right there. And Halim's wife, I think her heritage is probably like English or Scottish or something, right? Just like most Aussies are, and that's right across the pond if you're in Paris. You know, it's a lovely thought. Oh gosh, you can get direct tickets to see, direct flights to see your sister, Nana, right? She lives in Qatar, Qatar Airways, Sydney to Qatar, right? And then go to Lebanon if you want. You don't have to. You seem to dislike it for some reason. But yeah, while you're in Qatar, go catch a 2-hour flight, perhaps. I think it's 2 hours. I don't want to say 4. It might be 4. And see your first cousin and her beautiful, curly locked, her beautiful children with those gorgeous locks, those gorgeous taupe locks. Beautiful. Yeah, and you have your own beautiful kids that you need to show off to compare and contrast, you know, because you've done so well and you've earned the ability to celebrate that with you and your family and do something better than driving to Queensland in a Lexus. It's lovely once a year, by the way, and there's nothing wrong with. I celebrate that wholeheartedly. But for the effort that you've gone through and how well you've done, I think you've earned better than a road trip to Queensland with your family. And you should reward them with something better because you've done so well, and you should start acting as though you have, you know, and stop doing cynical, silly things like try to assist my Uncle Charlie in him getting a apprehended violence order application against me when I send you text messages when I'm going through an emotional spiral. You know, we're sort of beyond that. Like, our problems are champagne problems at this point, sweetheart. Okay? Stop whinging and act like there's still a war going on. You know, I have problems now, but my problems feel severe. But I'm middle class now. I've done quite well. I'm university educated. And I realize that there's a lot of support out there. That's why I was ashamed of all that stuff that I was posting on Facebook. But at the time, I was overcome with this really unnatural emotion, which is a mania, which my Uncle Charlie knows very, very well, which Halim might know very well. He used to struggle with cocaine addiction. I don't know if it's still an issue, but I know that he still has issues, he still has demons. Maybe Yara can help, you know? They're not that far apart mentally, you know, in terms of their family and who they are and what they've been through. And when I say who they are, I mean like in their bones, in their blood. That's their, you know, inherited traits through their family, through the bloodline even. I don't know. The curly hair, you know, but also maybe the temper, right? The emotionalness, right? The a predisposition to that disease that Tony has, let's say. We can talk about it if we stop being so cynical about cousins that have done better than us and actually celebrate them. Sebastian is amazing, and he's done so well, and he's cute and attractive. Let's just get that out there. He's a very handsome, lovely, beautiful specimen of a family, and he's done well. And his father and mother should be so proud. It's my uncle Zuzu and my auntie Muntaha, right? That are unfortunately divorced, but their kids are amazing. Sebastian's lovely. I mean, handsome, athletic, smart, going to university in Dijon. He doesn't even realize that he's in Paris. That he's in Paris, yeah, sure. He doesn't realize that he's in paradise. And that paradise was created for him by his hardworking and long-suffering parents. And he should begin to enjoy that. And our family here in Sydney should do better and should know to support you more instead of being confused and envious by the fact that you live in another country than them. You know, because for them that's really all it comes down to. The criticisms that I heard about you from other members of my family, your first cousins, Saeed, Majid, Zulzul, he's weird, he's quiet, his dad's odd. It's like, mate, he's shy around you. You know, like, make him feel comfortable, make him come out of his shell. And their reply was, no, why does he have to be weird? Why can't he come to our show? And by the way, I have an answer to why Sebastian could not come out of his shell when he was here in Sydney. It's because he was surrounded by little nasty monsters. All of his cousins were so horrible and mean-spirited to him. It was appalling for me to, be witness to and, not be able to do anything about. And see his father just be a drunken buffoon in front of him. It must have been very, very hard for Sebastian. And I'm so proud that he's doing so well. I am naturally, honestly, envious of him. I'm jealous of Sebastian. I wish I had Dijon University in an apartment in Dijon when I was his age and growing up. He can get in a car and he can drive to Freiburg, a city that's close to my heart because of my experience at university with, what would you call it? German phenomenology, let's just say. Like intellectual pursuits, but also it's a beautiful country that is, I think, barely 3 hours to get to from where he is in Dijon. Freiburg is Bavaria. It's beautiful. It inspired some of the greatest thoughts that have influenced the world today because it's just so beautiful and lovely, and he's right there. I celebrate him for that, and I think that he's lucky, and he doesn't realize how lucky he is, and our family hasn't done enough to make him understand how lucky he is. I'd imagine that rather than making him feel like he's lucky, that they'd made him feel like he's bad. I've never heard a good word said about Sebastian from anyone in my family, but I've only seen great things from him and his mother and his sister and his little brother. So God bless him. Well, he obviously already has. He's in Dijon with a beautiful mother and a great dad that's struggling at the moment. But it'll be okay, because Yara's just next door as well. Alright. Love you. Bye.